For most of the year, Rocky Mountain National Park is covered in snow and ice, making it difficult to get out for a hike without snowshoes. Well, there is one beautiful hike that is mostly snow-free nearly all year long. It is usually very quiet, has incredible views, and is just a few minutes outside of Estes Park. If you stay tuned, I'll take you for a hike on the Black Canyon Trail. Today, I want to take you on a hike that I really love. It's called the Black Canyon Trail, and it follows Lumpy Ridge, an area of Rocky Mountain National Park that is a top destination for rock climbers because of all the unusual rock formations that you can find here. The trail begins just outside of Estes Park at the Lumpy Ridge trailhead, just off of Devil's Gulch Road. Now, one of the nice things about this hike is that you don't have to drive very far out of town to access it. It's just a 5-minute drive from my gallery in downtown Estes Park. Let's start by looking at the hike statistics. The route I plan to take will take us 2 miles out and another 2 miles back. By the time we return to the trailhead, we will have climbed 770 feet. Most of that elevation is on a hill that's right next to the parking area. It's just a short climb on our way up and out, and a little bit of a longer climb on the way back. The rest of the hike is really pretty gentle. In my book, Hiking Rocky Mountain National Park, The Essential Guide, I have this hike listed as a moderate hike, but it is one of the easiest of the moderate hikes. Most people will do this hike in about 3 hours, not including any breaks. So we are now at the Lumpy Ridge trailhead. Here you will find 2 different trails leaving from the parking lot. The one to the right will take you up and up to Little Gem Lake, which is a small pond tucked between the rocks. It's one of the more popular hikes in the national park, but it's quite a workout. However, today we're going to take the trail on the left, which is the Black Canyon Trail. Now, one of the first things you'll notice after we leave the trailhead is that we have to open a gate on the trail. Now, if you've hiked much in the national park, you'll realize this is quite unusual. There aren't too many gates to be found in Rocky Mountain National Park. Now, the reason for this gate is because nearly all of the hike we're going to do today is on private land, yet within the boundary of the national park. I know this sounds a little confusing, so I'll tell you more about it when we get further down the trail. For now, just know that we're required to stay on the trail for this entire hike. Also, don't forget, dogs and other pets are not allowed on any of the trails in the national park. Well, are you ready to get going? Let's head out. Well, we just climbed to the top of the only major hill on this hike. As you can see, it really wasn't too strenuous. As we were heading up, you may have noticed off to your right a rock formation that they call the hen and egg. Now, you may need a bit of imagination to see it. All along this hike today, we'll get glimpses of these unusual rock formations tucked into Lumpy Ridge. Well, now we're going to descend down the other side. This is the only section of trail that can be a little snowy and slippery in the winter, as it's shaded from the sun. Now, if you see any snow or ice here, I do recommend using microspikes for this section. At the bottom of the hill, we'll wind our way through the forest. You'll get a few great glimpses of another rock formation off to your right called the Twin Owls. That formation will be a lot easier to identify. Now, this next section of trail is very peaceful and is a great place to find wildflowers early in the season. just a minute, we're going to go through a fence, and then we're going to come to an intersection where we're going to turn left. And just after that, we'll come to a paved road that we're going to have to cross directly over, and then just follow the trail up the hill. Now, when you reach the top of the hill, you're going to get amazing views over the Estes Valley with Long's Peak as the main backdrop. You can also see Twin Sisters and many of the mountains of the park. This wide open view is simply breathtaking. From that point, almost to the end, we'll be walking through this open meadow. Now, because it faces south, it gets a lot of sun, which quickly melts any snow that falls. Because of this, this is one of the few hikes that you can do all year round. However, if you're doing it in the summer, it can get very hot, so be sure to bring extra water and sunscreen. So this private property we've been hiking on today is McGregor Ranch. This is a 150-year-old working cattle ranch founded in 1873. Now that's more than 40 years before Rocky Mountain National Park was established. The McGregor family ranched here until 1970 when Muriel McGregor, the last descendant of the family, died at the age of 46. Before she died, she put the property into a special land trust to ensure that the cattle ranch would continue as an example of high mountain ranching, and also to ensure that this beautiful area would be preserved from future development. Then in 1983, the National Park Service purchased a conservation easement to further protect this area. So this is a working cattle ranch. It is private property owned by the McGregor Trust and is actually inside the national park. How about that? Now, because this is an operating cattle ranch, there are cattle and also horses roaming here. They generally stay away from the trail, but it is always possible that you may encounter them. So keep your eyes open and give them space. Again, remember that the ranch requires that we stay on the trail at all times. Along this trail, you'll find spur trails like this, leading up to these towering rocks. These are for rock climbers, as there are some of the best rock climbing routes in the region to be found here. Climbers come from all over to enjoy these granite walls. As well as rock climbers, raptors love these rocks as well. Many birds, such as falcons, hawks, and eagles, make their home here. And the National Park closes some of these climbing routes during the spring and summer to allow space for these birds to nest and raise their young. We've now hiked 2 miles and reached our destination. This is the end of the McGregor Ranch property. On the other side of this gate, you'll be back in Rocky Mountain National Park. However, the trail begins to get much steeper as it climbs up and up. You can continue on this trail for another 6 miles up to Long Lake, or you can head up 1.3 miles and turn right onto the Cow Creek Trail. You can actually do a very nice loop hike returning to our trailhead via Gem Lake. However, it is a 12-mile loop, and so we won't do it today. From here, we'll head back to the trailhead the way we came. What I always enjoy is that when you hike back in a different direction, there's always so much you find that you missed on your way here, as both your perspective and the light has changed. Well, I hope you enjoyed this hike. There's certainly few hikes in Rocky that have such an open and expansive view. Perhaps you'll give it a try on your next visit to Rocky. If you want the full details on this hike, as well as for many other hikes in Rocky Mountain National Park, then check out my book, Hiking Rocky Mountain National Park: The Essential Guide. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll leave a comment below and consider subscribing. I plan to put out many more videos on all there is to do and see in Rocky Mountain National Park. I'll see you all later. If you would like to learn more about Rocky Mountain National Park, visit my website, RockyMountainNationalPark.com. For my books and calendar, visit RockyTrailPress.com. And if you're visiting Estes Park, Colorado, be sure and stop in my gallery, Images of RM and P.